we're going to move right away into our circle of care because we have folks who've come from great distances to be here, and it would be unthinkable for them not to have this opportunity to do this. And so I'm going to let them take their positions. And Don, are you going to start out with this? Thank you.
Thank you. Bill reminded us that he'd been with the foundation for 25 years. I've only been at the Circle of Care 8 years, but if you ask anybody I work with, they'll tell you it seems like 25, you know. I've got a picture of an iceberg in my office, and it's an unusual picture. It shows the top of the iceberg, but it also shows the iceberg beneath the sea. And below what we see of an iceberg is 10 times what is above the sea. When I see that picture, I think of the Circle of Care. You may see the Circle of Care and the people that make up the Circle of Care, but underneath that Circle of Care is the people and the churches of the Oklahoma Conference. We only minister what you allow us to do. We've changed like all programs serving youth and children. Most faith-based agencies started as the orphanage or the children's home on the hill. And we've evolved into multiple services, independent living services, foster care, emergency foster care. On our campuses now, we have sibling groups, young children again. It's not all cottages. But you didn't come to hear me speak. You came to hear the people who actually deliver the service and the people who receive the service. So I'm going to ask, we're divided into two sections. We have support and development, and Todd Bryant is the Vice President of Support and Development. And then we're divided into program services, and Mark Howard is the Vice President of Program Services. So I'm going to introduce Todd Bryant. He's going to tell you about a couple of things that's happening, and then he's going to turn it over to Mark to finish it up and to send us forth with our discipleship this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. We have a lot of exciting things going on at Circle of Care. One of the things that I wanted to talk to you about today, over the last 12 months, we've been engaged in a capital fundraising campaign for our Francis Willard campus in Tulsa. And we're pleased to report that we have raised more than $500,000 for renovations for our Pearls Hope program up there. We couldn't have done it without the support and guidance of Jono and Jenny Helmerich there in Tulsa, and our own Oklahoma United Methodist Foundation for getting us started. But we've raised more than $500,000 to completely renovate Lyons Cottage on the Francis Willard campus, which is going to increase the capacity of our Pearls Hope program, which is our transitional program for homeless women and their children. It's going to make the capacity of that program grow by about a third. The other part of our renovations, we are opening apartments for independent living students in Tulsa for the first time. And so our independent living program is spreading to Tulsa, and we're very excited about that. The other part of this, this project involves energy efficiency upgrades to the other buildings on campus, and will also leave us with an endowment for the perpetual maintenance and upkeep of that Francis Willard campus. So we'll keep it looking nice from here on out. We also, at the beginning of the year, kicked off a new 3-year strategic plan for the Circle of Care, and rather than read all 12 pages to you right before lunch, I just want to mention to you that one of the major emphases of our strategic plan is the idea of projecting Circle of Care services and programs out into communities across the state. And we're very excited about that. As I said, we have independent living now in Tulsa. And so going forward, you're going to see more areas and opportunities, and we'll be dialoguing with local churches on how we can bring what we do out to you. One last thing, and I'll turn it over to Mark. Does everybody know where our booth is? Upstairs, you smell the popcorn? We're having a drawing tomorrow. We're giving away 4 Circle of Care flash drives. These are 8 gigabyte flash drives. So if you're into portable computer storage and you'd like something with Circle of Care on it, come by our booth and fill out the registration form, and we'll be giving 4 of these away and doing drawings throughout the day tomorrow. Thank you for everything you do for us. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Mark Howard, our Vice President of Program Services. Thank you.
Good morning. You know, Jesus said that there is no greater love than for people to lay down their lives for others. And every day across the state of Oklahoma, our foster parents give up the normalcy of their lives to care for other children. And today I'd like to introduce to you Rochelle. She's one of our foster parents, and she's going to share a little bit of her journey with you.
Good evening. My name's Rochelle Case. I started my journey when I was 16, was placed in foster care. After 27 homes in 1 year, I decided when I got to my last foster home and aged out of the system of DHS, I decided then and told my foster mom, I'm going to be a foster parent just like you. Turned 18, graduated, didn't go to college. Years later, after I had my children and they started getting into high school, I thought, okay, I can do this. Went to college. I've been a foster mom for 9 years. I've adopted 3 beautiful children. They are my life. I'm a single mom by choice. Have been married twice. Decided I can get children by adopting or fostering without having to be married. I joined Child Share in the need to see what other foster parents were going through. I knew then I wasn't alone. We had a disaster in our own lives. We had a fire, destroyed everything in our home. Didn't know where to go, didn't know what to do. I can't even tell you who gave me their number, but I called them. They treated me as their own, and ever since then we've been with Child Share. They've been there with me through car seats. When these children come to us, they don't come with car seats. They don't come with clothes most of the time, formula or bottles or anything like that. All I have to do is call and say, hey, I have a new child, I need this. They're there for me. With the donations from the groups and organizations, I'm able to help the children in my home with new blankets to call their own. Some of them, before they've come to my home, has not even had a pillow. They don't even know what a pillow is, but it's theirs when they leave. All 3 of my children have special needs that I've adopted. One is autistic. She's had 2 heart surgeries, and she's also water on the brain. She's also the light of my life. If I'm to be proven wrong, she's the one who proves me wrong first. I have a child that is ADHD. He's the joy of my life, and anytime that I'm just feeling down, he'll say, Mom, it's okay, we can do this. I also have another child that is 2. He's seizures. Seizures at night, seizures at day. Sometimes we're tired, but we get through them. I also have 2 daughters of my own, and without my rock, they are my rock, and without them, I wouldn't be able to do what I've done. Through the babysitting, through helping me get them ready in the morning, help me get them ready in the morning for school. Child Share has always been there for me. Just like yesterday, they asked if I needed anything, and I said, no, all I need is a hug. And they said, okay, come on down. I did. I drove down there, and you betcha I got my hug. If it wasn't for the hearts and the loving hearts that you guys have, we wouldn't have the donations that we have today. Sometimes the donations, all we need is that hug. Sometimes all we need is just hearing and say, I hear you, and I'm there for you. My mother, my foster mom, and now my real mom today, has always told me it takes a community to raise these children, and I believe it. I have one that is 24. He's a manager of Sonic. I have a daughter that is 21 that's in Portugal right now with her husband serving his country. I also have a daughter named Megan. She is 19, soon to be 20. She works at OU Presbyterian. I have a daughter named Melinda, which is the one with the heart problem. A son named Joseph and a son named Jonathan. And then I also have, and I don't like calling her that because she is one of mine too, until she goes home. I have a foster daughter and she's just 9 months old. When someone asks me, how many kids do you have? I have a world of children. I just had 3 that graduated last year and 2 that graduated this year. I am very proud of them. Like I said, it takes a community to raise a child. Thank you for everything.
This time I'd like to introduce 2 of our Circle of Care youth, Caitlin and Sarah. And Sarah has a little bit of her story that she would like to share with you at this time.
Good morning. As Mark said, my name is Sarah, and I just wanted to take a minute to share with you what Circle of Care has done for me. I came to the children's home in May of 2009, and the song that I will be singing later is called Exaudi, which means to hear or to listen. And God heard my prayer for a safe place to live so that I could continue my education at Northeastern State University. I was recommended to look into the independent living program through the Wesley Foundation at NSU. I applied for the program and got accepted. And since I have been at the children's home, I have been able to stay in school and become more independent. The staff is willing to help you with any problem, and they give us the tools to help us make it on our own. I just wanted to say thank you. I know without your prayers and support that none of this would be possible. Please know that you all are helping making dreams come true. Thank you.
And this morning we have some of the other kids and staff from the Circle of Care program services. Last year, the Sunday after rodeo, I had the opportunity, one of the fun things I get to do with my job is to go out with some of the boys and give horseback rides for a fall festival that a church was having. And I was walking through the living room and the television was on and I was in a hurry to get ready to go, and I heard this preacher giving his Sunday sermon. And I paused for a second to hear the words, and as the sermon began to unfold, I was enthralled by the story. It seems that this preacher was leading his congregation through the Gospel of Luke. And even though I was in a hurry, I was compelled to listen to the rest of the story. He told the parable about the persistent widow who kept coming to the judge, crying for justice, pounding on the door to be heard. And it was one of the most moving sermons that I've ever heard. That preacher, that Sunday morning, was the Reverend Dr. Muzon Biggs. And it was his spectacular sermon that inspired our presentation today. God bless you, Dr. Biggs, for all that you have done for the Circle of Care. He quoted in a sermon a Dr. Fred Craddock story about how back in the 1960s, in the midst of the civil rights movement, an older black pastor was asked to read this same passage of Scripture at a large gathering of Christians, just like this one. And when he had finished, he closed his Bible and he said to the crowd, "Unless you have stood at the door and knocked until your knuckles are bleeding, you don't understand about prayer." There are many children in our state who come to that door early and they stay long, knocking, pounding on the door until their little hands are bleeding. A chorus of small voices rising to the heavens, asking to be heard, asking, seeking, begging our help. Hear the cries of the children. Let their cries come to you. Hear the prayers of the children, and let their cries come to you. Hear their prayers.
Hear my prayer, O Lord. Let my cry come to you. You, God, remain forever. Hear my prayer for. 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 People of the state of Oklahoma, members of the United Methodist Church, hear our prayer for.
I wrote down some words. I'm going to be recognizing the churches in just a few minutes, but I wrote down how proud we all are of all these young people, all of our foster families. We couldn't do it without our staff, and we couldn't do it without you, because you are the family for all of these children. Every year at this time, we also recognize those churches whose support of our organization is especially noteworthy. We appreciate all the support, but we can only recognize 5 in each category. So here are the top 5 churches in terms of per person giving for the 2012. Jet United Methodist Church. I guess United Methodist Church is probably understood, isn't it? Bethany in Enid, Allen, Jefferson, and Colgate. So we can clap for all of those right now. And now the top 5 churches in overall giving to Circle of Care. Asbury in Tulsa, Boston Avenue, Tulsa First, Church of the Servant here in Oklahoma City, and McFarland in Norman. Now, and we so appreciate your tremendous support for the Circle of Care, because we know we couldn't do this without your financial support and without your prayers. Each church that receives one of the awards will have a plaque. You can pick those plaques up in the Circle of Care booth, but wait until in the morning to pick those up. And from all of the Circle of Care, from the board, from the staff, from everyone involved, we would like to say thank you for allowing us the time to show how proud we are. Thank you.
Very good.